Yes, sir, Coach. We're joined by Coach Crean, and our first questions will come from Augusta Stone and Mark Weiser.
Hey, Coach. With the past two games, going so well for y'all, I just want to know specifically, what are you guys focusing on to keep that upward momentum in the positive direction?
I don't think it's anything that we're doing differently than we weren't doing a couple of weeks before. I think it's all a matter of just working on execution every day on both ends of the floor, working shorter segments, and going into every day knowing that we have to get better at what we do, but at the same time, we have to game plan. So having a really good balance as best we can. And I think that's the most important thing. And really not much has changed.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, I wonder what you can remember about getting to know Tamani as a player during the recruiting process, and kind of now that you've been with him for 2 seasons at Georgia, or in the second season, kind of what buttons do you push to get the most out of him as he develops?
Well, I think he's got to stay hungry, and I think when he's aggressive, when he's down low, in an offensive and a defensive stance, when he's engaged, I think he plays at a really high level. And I think when he starts worrying about the wrong things, a missed call, a non-call, those type of things distract him, and we need him to stay on the floor. But I think when we saw him play, we saw a guy that had not only tremendous upside athletically, but tremendous upside as a basketball player, because he had such a good feel. He was so well coached, and you could see it. And he was able to do a lot of things. He was aggressive. He could play with both hands. I think that's really important. And so he's really making a lot of strides. And I think as his aggressiveness continues to be consistent, then the consistency day in and day out will come out in him. And that's so important for him, because he can do a lot of different things. And he's got to make sure that he's active defensively. He's got to make sure that he's active verbally. He's got to make sure that he's got that quick twitch that he's got, and continue to do the hard things really well, as I think that's what he's good at.
Go to Jed May and then Anthony Dasher.
Hey, Coach. After the Auburn game the other night, Ty said, practice after that South Carolina game, the team was really focused. They were locked in, and have been ever since then. What changes have you seen in practice over the past, week, 10 days or so that's, I guess, allowed these last 2 games to go the way they have?
I don't know if I've seen a lot of change. I don't think the practice structures change much. It's probably just more individuals being locked in for longer periods of time. The practices aren't very long, and so I think that helps them recover well, which is very, very important, obviously. And it's really just probably more of a mindset than it is anything else. I mean, we tweak and adjust every day to what we do, and we add plays and actions to every game that we play. So really not much is different there. We're still really staying as true to the fundamentals of practice on both ends of the court as we possibly can.
Hey, Coach. I know momentum is only as good as your next ball game, but how important is it for this team to have a little bit of confidence now, this midway point through the season moving forward?
Well, I think confidence is extremely important, and I think it comes because you work hard and you play together, and things go right for you. And I think there's a camaraderie that we already have that just builds and becomes even stronger. But you have to stay absolutely focused, and every day has got to be its own masterpiece, so to speak, like John Wooden would say, right? I mean, you've got to do a great job each day of maxing it out and make sure that you're not leaving anything to chance. You're not leaving any stone unturned. And at the same time, you're not leaving their legs on the practice court. And I think that's really important. And we're very cognizant of that. So it's just a matter of us continuing to understand what that game calls for going into the game, stay true to the game plan, and then be able to make the adjustments that we have to make. And I think that's where momentum gets built, most of all. I mean, who's flexible and who can adjust, and who doesn't get distracted inside of the game.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Next up is Davis Baker and then Chip Towers.
Yeah, Coach, just wondering what you've seen from Vanderbilt on tape, and specifically Scottie Pippen Jr.
Well, he's one of the highest usage guards in the nation right now. He's playing at an extremely high rate. He's shooting the ball very well. He's getting to the rim. He's drawing fouls. It's a lot like preparing for Sharif Cooper and the fact that the ball is in his hands a lot. And he's doing a really good job of initiating contact and getting rewarded for it at the foul line. And so we've got to do a really good job of keeping him in front of us. He loves angles. You know, he loves to be able to get by you with angles. Their team can score, whether it's Maxwell, whether it's Dylan. Those guys can really, really score. I mean, they can shoot the ball. They're shooting a ton of threes. They run a lot of really good actions to get those threes. They get on the offensive glass. Jordan Wright, DJ Harvey, those guys create issues. So they're a very, very good team. I mean, they're coming off their best game of the year. I mean, they're by far their best game of the year, and they've had a week to rest and prepare. So we know we're going to get a really fast, organized, high-throttle team in here tomorrow night with Vanderbilt.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, I know it's always about the next game, absolutely. But, you know, there's 8 games left overall. You know, and it's all about Q1 and Q2 these days. You got a bunch of Q1 opportunities in front of you on the other side, maybe of this week. But do you discuss that at all with your team? Do you verbalize that at all about, hey guys, you know, we got a chance to really put something together here toward the end of the year?
No, not one bit. I mean, not one bit. I think they're aware of that. I think it's very clear that you've got to stay locked into the next game. I mean, that you just do. And they know those types of things, and it doesn't do any good. It does not help us prepare for a better practice or prepare to win that game, you know, any more than that. Do they talk like that? I'm sure they do. You know, I mean, I would hope they do. But at the end of the day, staying absolutely locked in to the game you're playing and to the preparation of that is by far the most important thing. It always has been, always will be.
Let's go down to Connor Riley.
Hey, Tom, this Vanderbilt game, it got moved from 1 to 6, and knowing that your schedule can get changed and moved around at any moment, has that made it hard to sort of find consistency or find a rhythm for you and your team this year?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, you just adjust. I mean, it might be different if it was a different day, but on the same day, just hours later, that's not a huge adjustment. I mean, there'll be adjustments we'll always have to make. I mean, like Chip said, there's 8 games left. I mean, we'll look at the games that are already canceled for tomorrow. I mean, in our league and around the country. So you just have to stay flexible and adaptable to everything that happens and make the best of it.
Coach Crean, thank you for your time and good luck tomorrow.
You're welcome. Thank you.